God.
Through the haze.
We're live right now.
I spoke to my sister today. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what she in Connecticut. It's like they're not even letting they're saying they're not going to let the kids go to school. She's like, even with the air conditioning on, you still get a bit of it in the house. And I'm like, look, we deal with that in LA like yearly with the fires. You know, where it looks like you're on the surface of Mars. Like you can look directly at the sun in the middle of the day because there's so much. It's pure. It's red outside, and it leaves like a half-inch soot on everything. But in New York, oof, that was you driving, bro. Dude, that looks like LA, yeah.
Who's playing the sound? I hear echo.
It's Amit.
Is it playing the sound or no?
Because he's.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
So just to cue it up, this is me driving home, and this is what it looked like.
That's nuts, man.
There was sound, but either way, yeah.
I mean, it's horrible to be out there, but we get that like once or twice a year out here. It's like that.
Yeah, that can't be good for your health.
Never really that.
And I was gonna say you're in Cali, so you see it, right?
Yeah, well, dude,
you're in Cali, so you're used to this.
I've got to send you some photos that I've taken. Like literally, I'm driving on the 405 going to work, and you're just like going through, you know, on the highway, and to the right, the entire mountain's on fire, and to the left, the entire mountain's on fire. Like everything around you is on fire, and you're just driving on this path, and like you just get used to it. It's hard to say that, but it's the truth. You just get used to it. It looks like the freaking apocalypse.
You still have
the air quality index in New York is worse than India right now.
Yeah, I heard.
Like
my friend sent me an article. It's the worst air quality in the United States right now. The worst air quality in the United States.
Amit, you're still getting an echo, dude.
And you're also delayed.
Headphones.
Are you playing your sound back or something?
He's also. Are you getting a delay on his face too?
Yeah, he's delayed a tiny bit, but the echo is the bad part.
Did you guys know if you wear these things for like a prolonged period of time, you get this thing called a streamer dent? If you're bald, so basically there's actually a dent that forms in your head.
I hope I don't have it.
No way.
Yeah. No, it's true, man. It's crazy. Like there's a few streamers who like stream for prolonged periods of time and they always have their headphones on. And then they actually took their shit off and you can actually see the dent. I mean, it's temporary, but still it's kind of crazy to see.
You mean Twitch streamers?
I was gonna say Twitch.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a real Twitch thing.
Oh, did you guys hear like the news about what they're doing to Twitch? How they're adding these crazy terms of like they can't advertise properly, they can't take up a certain amount of screen real estate to advertise. So like Amazon's trying to control the way they make income now.
That's not
that was
good.
fun while it lasted then, wasn't it?
Well, they tweeted Elon. They said you should have a competitor. Elon's like, okay.
right.
Sure.
it'll be 540p for the first 2 years.
Oh,
the thing is like at this point there's like a few other new streaming platforms, like, you know, like live streaming platforms that are coming around. So it's not like there's not optionality. So I don't know. Amazon's not being smart about this.
Oh, they're saying they canceled the changes. Someone's saying they canceled the changes because everybody was like bitching about it today.
It was kind of like, remember when Xbox was originally released, it wouldn't work without the camera. The camera, people were like, when Xbox first came out, it had that camera, and they were like, people were furious that Microsoft would have a camera in your house the whole time.
And that's crazy too.
And they said they wouldn't let it work, and then they walked it back. So you bitch enough, you get.
So
and everybody has an Alexa.
Is it good now? No delay? It's good?
Dude, you are like in some weird Black Mirror Twilight Zone right now. You're talking, no sound comes out.
You might have
All right,
to
I'm gonna leave and come back.
Yeah. You're the host. You're gonna end the stream. It's gonna go down.
No, I'll just leave. It's not gonna go down if I leave. No,
okay.
No.
Okay.
I think you have to click end broadcast to actually kill the stream. Yes, I am in the main prime position.
Finally, got rid of that fucking asshole.
All right, are we chatting about Tesla today? They've been on a run.
Yeah, and all these polls on Twitter. They're funny. Like, what do you think's causing the
Is
the
Elon
pump?
tweeting less?
Yeah, it's Elon tweeting less. The Twitter overhang has been lifted. Some of them are like nothing.
Everything is running, but so Carlos, why do you think though that? Why do you think everything is running? It's supposed to go away in May, isn't it?
Everything's not running. I mean, there's some things
I feel like everything's up.
Toilet, but again, it's like we have to look at the heat map. Look at the heat map of the
You want to bring up a heat map?
I'm sure.
Bring it up,
Chris.
No, we can't share anything. We don't have to control.
Oh, damn. Chris,
Wait,
draw one
you're
on the
not a
napkin.
You know, I'm telling
You're
you,
not a host?
we need our own channel.
Yeah, well, we need to also just be made.
Yeah.
Hosts.
Yeah,
I don't know why I don't know why Tesla's running. I think it has something to do with China.
there you go.
There we go.
I think he
Well,
shared it though, not us.
Who?
Yeah, I
this
shared it.
I think.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's my screen. That's my
Oh.
screen. Yeah.
Is it
I
kind of okay now, or is it still?
Yeah.
fucked?
Oh, that's better.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
good.
now you're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, no,
So-
you're looking at today, but the last week or so, everything's been very green.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see. So yeah, I mean, relatively a lot of like smaller caps or smaller and mid cap is catching up to some of the more mega cap. Like mega, I was actually, it's on my desktop. Hold on one second. I was looking at this. Where the hell is? Yeah, I had the data point pulled out. Let me just share the screen. Sorry, guys.
Is that the weekly though? Are you showing the weekly?
The weekly or
Yeah,
the-
this is 1 week performance. This is
Interesting.
one-
Big tech is
yeah.
flat basically, but everything
Yeah.
else is green. Yeah.
I was
But that's
also
m-
reading. I was also
yeah.
reading, and I don't know
What
if
is
you
that? The
guys-
week? What do you have there right now? I can't. Tell.
Hold on one second. Sorry, I have so many windows open right now. This right here is the 1 month performance. So you can see on a monthly basis, a
Mhm.
lot of big tech was rallying like crazy, right?
Mhm.
And then all the other ones like consumer defensive were down. If we go to like year to date, you can see a lot of stuff is still pretty negative, with big tech pretty much all but recovered from last year. And if you go like a 1 year performance, you can see, you know, everything is pretty much recovered with the exception of some of the weaker parts of the economy, you know. So
I was also reading, and I wanted to get your take on this. Was that there was also a lot of options expiring, and there was a lot of people just looking to cover some shorts, and so that was some of what the buying was. Like people that had, say, puts on some of the tech companies, people buying them in to cover.
yeah, I think the market's headed somewhat in a based on like the fear and greed that I've been looking at the index on CNN, which does a pretty good job. There's been a lot more call buying, you know, so there is an overall like positive sentiment in the market, but I think it's directed at, like I said, smaller and mid-sized companies. I think there's a sector-wide rotation out of big cap tech into more medium-sized companies that are actually very undervalued right now, that haven't necessarily gotten the praise that it needed to. Like the banks. The banks were up today. Big tech was down today. So
Well, it makes
we-
sense
can we-
because when we rotate, you know, like when the market rotates, it's clear how it rotates. It sort of starts to slowly leave a sector. Maybe big tech had its run. That's it. It has to take a little bit of a pullback. And then as soon as you go into the mid cap companies and the low cap companies, like they get massive runs because if $1 out of how many people comes out of Amazon, right? And then you're moving a stock like SoFi, like the movement is just bigger.
It's
It's a smaller
tremendous, yeah.
company, right? So I think Carlos put in a different way multiple times that we have this massive ocean of companies. And so
Yeah.
like the big tech is like these ocean liners. And then we're like the little sailboats in our SoFi stock, just getting
Right.
knocked around.
Yeah. I've been looking for a way to actually to visualize that for a while. I was
Right.
working with some 3D engines trying to actually visualize what the market's like, because I do think that on some level a stock chart represents like a wave.
Yep.
You know, if you could envision like it's almost like the path of a wave crashing, say, you know.
Right, but the
So-
big company, the money coming out of those guys, like any of that, any real change coming out of there, like how does it affect the little guys? It probably has to
Right.
go
If you look
somewhere.
at if you look at it dollars like gallon, this is how I look at it. Look at it dollars like gallons, right? So that means say Tesla's got 694 billion gallons of water in it.
Right.
If you pull one scoop of that out and you drop it into the SoFi pool, it's going to
Right.
overflow.
We literally have a kiddie pool on the
Yeah, on
side.
the side, you get these little million market cap companies, and it's just forget it.
yeah, so if you look at the relative performance for the year, you see mega cap has pretty much outperformed everybody. And then if you look at it on a 1 year basis, same thing, mega cap's been up there. Micro and nano, which are more speculative names, which I don't even look at really. I look more on the small and mid cap and large. They're actually rotating into like some better positions right now. So you can see right here in 1 month performance, the small caps actually outperformed the mid caps, did pretty okay. Large was kind of flat, and you can see like how the sectors are rotating into smaller, mid, and large. You know, so 1 week performance. So this one is the daily performance. So like I said, I think this is a good indicator that there is there's definitely some sector rotation happening. So
Does this seem like Cathie Wood was right? I don't know if you remember what she said, but she said we need the whole market to participate in a bull market, not just one sector. So if
It's not
people are
wrong.
rotating into the small caps and mid caps, this finally means that they're starting to participate in some recovery, which means we are getting closer and closer to the bull run. I think Cathie Wood might be right onto it. She just, she's still buying shit, but she's her
there's
points are
not
valid.
You think people are transitioning to small caps right now, or you think it's starting?
I think it's starting.
What small
Yeah.
caps are pumping?
like a lot.
SoFi, like
No,
Pound.
but Cathie doesn't own
Yeah.
SoFi. I mean, she
No,
owns a
no, it
little
doesn't. It
counter.
doesn't mean only her companies. I'm just saying when there's
Yeah.
a massive market rotation out of these large caps, where they have to go somewhere. So if it's going to mid caps and small caps because they've been hammered for the last 2 years, it makes sense that this rotation is now including those companies that have been in a possible ending of the bear market to a bull market. So that was Cathie's point, and I think she's right about that. I'm not sure what the timing is of it, of course, but I think she's right about that. Everybody has to participate in a bull market. It's not just like Google and Amazon,
Yeah.
Can I ask you? Go ahead, Carlos. Go ahead.
I just, if you guys want to, I wanted to discuss that link that I sent you 2 days ago of the Rivian poaching the guy from Tesla.
Who did they take? Who did
They
take?
took the head of the supply chain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So getting back to like why Tesla might have been pumping, I think it was the good news with China. I think that there's also the talk of this Indian factory, whether it's India or potentially an expansion in China. I think
You want to bring up the article?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
well, that article I sent it to you guys a few days ago. I was like, we should discuss
Yeah.
this. It's just maybe we just read some of it.
So I'll read a little bit of here. As Tesla nears its deadline to begin Cybertruck production, the person responsible for buying the materials to build the electric trucks is leaving the company. This guy, Mustafa El Akari, who oversaw purchasing of raw materials for the Cybertruck and other Tesla vehicles, is now moving on to rival electric company Rivian. According to the report, they were responsible for $16 billion in supply purchases at Tesla, which included materials like aluminum and steel, and now looks like they will be doing similar work for Rivian by accepting a senior director of structures and raw materials. The Cybertruck's body is made of stainless steel, which costs more than normal steel typically used in auto manufacturing. In a January earnings call, the CEO, Elon, said manufacturing of the Cybertruck will begin sometime this summer, with mass production to begin in 2024. And in an April earnings call, he confirmed a delivery event for the third quarter of this year. So do you think this is bullish for Tesla then?
No, I don't think it's bullish, but I was expecting this to be a bigger deal. Like, what's funny is like I didn't hear any of the mainstream media reporting this, and with all the FUD that you see against Tesla, the fact, they this is perfect. This is saying, oh, people are leaving Tesla. Some of the higher end people, the guy responsible for supply chain. This is, well, what does that mean for the Cybertruck? I just didn't see this at all.
Elon started advertising. So they got nothing to say.
Right, he threw one ad of some chick in South Korea, and it's like, okay, it's all good. Good in the world now.
They're like, look, Elon's paying us now. Okay, it's just.
Why do you think Tesla was is pumped this week? Was it just a market thing, or you think there's any?
Well, like I said,
catalyst?
I think they had a good meeting in China, and anytime they get out of China and they have a good meeting, that's good, because that's the world's largest auto market, right? And what they're there to talk about, expansion. They talked about apparently expanding or building a new factory. There was even some talk of having a censored version of Twitter in China. And that,
wait, really? They're thinking of
Yeah.
bringing Twitter to China. Even if it's censored, that would be amazing.
Well, look, just literally do a search for it, and you'll see there was like a couple of like key takeaways of Elon's trip to China.
I'm not sure it's only that. Like I said, all of these companies, these larger tech companies, were sort of moving together. So NVIDIA pumped a lot, and that's part of AI. Tesla is still considered a little bit part of AI, so it's going because of that. And the PEs of all of these big tech companies are going up. Well, I'm sorry, not the PEs, the actual price of sales and everything are going up. Their valuations are increasing. So I think that means that Tesla's participating in the same sort of run with these other companies. I know we can pick and point to certain specific things that are happening, but I feel they all sort of moved in tandem. You don't see that they all sort of moved up 20-30%?
Yeah. But look at Cam Hurd's last comment here. Tesla's also catching the AI bid. Well,
Right.
It's funny. They then but they haven't said anything about AI. Like, of all the companies.
No,
that
but
really
everybody knows
hasn't said AI,
FSD. So if everybody's catching it, Tesla's going to get a little bit of that.
it's probably something to do with it. I mean, if people in the chat thinking that it's going to go to 300 this year, that would make me a little sad. It kind of make me sad the way you felt when Palantir breaks 15. You're like, I don't have enough shares. Like, don't go on without me, guys.
Do you think Tesla's cheap right now?
Yeah, super cheap. Yeah, it's cheap.
I don't know.
Vitaly?
I don't know.
But I
I don't know
still
about
feel like
I don't know about
we
being
gotta
cheap.
get a pull. It's cheap, dude. If you think about it, just look at the chart where it is in the 52 week.
Well, if Cathie's right, she said her base case is $2,000, and I listened to it again. And look, if she's right, it is cheap as fuck.
She said 27. She said 2027 is
$2,000 a share.
2,700.
So I did the math on my portfolio, and I was like,
I think we all did.
retired.
Yes, I'm done.
Retired.
I am fucking done.
Yeah, that was really good. It was like a 7.3x from here, and I was like, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
it's nonsense the amount of money that is.
Look, the thing is, like, we know Tesla is supposed to be $1 trillion plus company. Like, at least I know it internally. Okay, so what is it hanging around right now? 750 billion, somewhere around there.
703.
Yeah, you know.
Right, but if Apple's almost a $3 trillion company and they're selling you $1,000 phones, $1,500 laptops,
and their P is
maybe
like 30, right? What's their
$3,000.
P? What's Apple's P for us right now? It's like 30, and they're growing only like 10%.
Less than
Is
that.
that right?
No, wasn't that that was Rango's thing? And they're only growing. Oh no, Chris's point. They're growing 1 or 2%.
No, I thought it was double digits. Chris, is that
Chris? Right? They're growing in
what is Apple
single
growing?
digits.
Look, go to their financials. They're only growing in like single digits. Like
Are you
December,
serious?
which is usually their stronger quarter. Look at what it was. Their strongest quarter, December. Go to December 2022.
Pull up Anita's.
What's their
Anita's
year over year?
comment.
So if
Their
you look
year-over-year.
at December, December 2022, which is usually their strongest quarter, it's down 5.8% revenue wise. You know, you
Can
look
you tell
at
me their
March,
year over year besides their quarterly?
That's
What's
what
their
it is. It's year over year. It's 5.
down
It's
5%?
negative. Yeah, down 5%
Wow.
year over year.
They
Yeah,
are
but I
definitely
mean, but
overvalued then. Okay.
You've got to be, but that year over year is including 2020, which is going to always throw the numbers off.
2021. It's including 2021.
But 2020 was the horrible year when everybody had all the issues.
Bro, the thing is,
Pandemic.
Apple's making $100 billion off of services. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still to me not as overvalued as we think it is. I kind of changed my mind of this as I've been going through the numbers. I'm like, this is a really good business.
Well,
no,
the
it's
thing
great.
is,
It's going to
a
just
great
keep
thing is,
money for years.
they're using their free cash flow to buy back a shit ton of shares. So yeah, even if their revenue is flat, the number of shares outstanding declines pretty precipitously, which means that their EPS goes up. You know, so right now, I would say that this company shouldn't be valued like a growth company. It should be valued like a value company, right? Which means a PE that's much lower than what it is right now. Then again, this is what the market does, right? The market is looking for safety. So where does everyone park their money? In Google and Apple.
Chris, what's a
Microsoft?
typical PE for a value stock?
10.
10.
No.
Eight to
Well,
10?
depends.
12.
No,
10,
I think
12.
it-
Maximum
double digits.
15.
No, it depends on the sector, to be honest with you. Like, you know, each sector, believe it or not, each industry has their own relative PEs that which they're good. Like for a bank, a 10 PE is good. Like that's the one that's like maybe 12 is a little bit better too, but 10 to 12 PE is good. For
Why does
something that's-
Coca-Cola have 26 PE? Isn't
It
Coca-Cola
shouldn't.
the biggest
because
value?
it's consumer. No, it's because it's consumer defensive. So everyone is giving a lot more weighting to Coca-Cola in this current market, because the one thing people are not going to do in a recession is stop drinking Coca-Cola. You look at utility companies right now, that's disgusting. Utility companies, type in what do you call PSNG? Like, let me do Con Edison stock, not
Oh God!
CON.
It's not.
Yeah.
And that was just a joke,
Yeah.
right?
I'm
That was a joke.
yeah. I'm sure it
So if
was.
you look at the PE on Con Edison, it's like 13, which is good. But I've seen some of the other utility companies, their PEs have just been freaking out of this world, man. Go to PSNG, Pacific and Natural Gas. Because what happens is in a bear market, you usually want to rotate into companies like this that you know that people are, regardless whether or not there's a recession, people are still going to be buying electricity. They're still going to be utilizing electricity, and you're still getting a nice fixed dividend. So if you look at like a 5-year chart, you can see that this is actually a very stable business. It's not going to grow like crazy, but you're not going to lose a lot of money either. Whereas growth companies, if they don't perform, they'll get beaten down
smashed.
and beaten down pretty hard. So this is where, like, if you want to have like a nice stable company that you want to sit on, that's, you know, this is a good place to park your money. So that's what a lot of people are doing. But then again, right now,
Can you
there's
look at
a weird-
IBM? Just look at IBM
Yeah.
for a second.
By the way, that's not PSNG. That's some other company.
What
Wait,
is
what do you mean
theirs?
that's not PS? That is PS. Oh, PEG.
No,
No, public
that's something
service.
else.
No, it's something
You
else.
could look at Duke Energy. You could look at NextEra. All of them are utility companies. So
Well, Nextera
IBM
is actually
PE
being
is-
priced a little bit higher.
Why is IBM a 70 PE? It's not growing. Is this
Yes, it is.
wrong?
yes, it is.
It's growing double digits year over year. IBM.
Go to its
70.
financials. Look at its financials.
Speaking of which,
Look at
by
its
the way,
net
I
income.
have
Look at
Yeah,
its
you're
net
right.
income. Its EPS is growing.
It's
They
going
did a
faster
very
than
good-
Apple.
Yeah, they did a good job with their acquisition strategy with Red Hat. That's helping a lot for them. So
So,
Again, Chris, how do you know all this shit? I don't. This is just insane.
because I'm a real investor, bro. That's what I do. I research. That's what I do.
Well, IBM should not be at a 70 PE. That's
No,
ridiculous.
I agree.
And if Apple is, you're saying negative growth. I thought it was positive. I thought it was at least like 10% or something. You're saying it's negative growth year over year. And what is the expectation that is next year?
for Apple.
Yeah. Like,
It's
then it
expected to be
shouldn't what is that?
10%. It's expected to be flat this year or negative 2023, 10% 2024.
Yeah.
All right. So
just
it's
remember,
going back to double digit.
Mhm.
just remember though, with Apple, because of their share buybacks, regardless whether or not, with Apple right now, they don't have to grow their revenue all that much. They could just be flat on revenue, but with all those share buybacks, that free cash flow, it's crazy. Same thing with Meta. The reason why Meta was such a big value play in October was even if their revenue was flat, they could literally just lay people off and their cash flow would go crazy, which is what's happening. And that's why now Meta's PE is up to 30 again. So it went
bought
from
a bunch of
8
stock
PE
back,
to 30.
50 billion
Yeah.
worth or whatever. Of
And that's
stock.
it. That's
Exactly.
a gift, right? And that's just
Yeah.
a gift to you guys.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Can we?
Okay.
Okay, I was going to do a segment. What were you going to transition to?
No, I was just gonna say, it's funny that you mentioned NextEra. I've been talking with someone from there, and I think we can have him on as a guest tomorrow,
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
just to discuss some potential possibilities in renewables. I am really curious on geothermal, and anybody that wants to talk geothermal, I'm the guy. I don't know why. I'm just really curious about it. So I'd like to speak to a professional about it and understand why it's not as viable as it may seem to someone like me on the outside. So hopefully we can work it out and get him on the show tomorrow.
Cool. We should
Okay,
also
so-
have an Enphase Solar Edge person also come on here. And if you guys want to chat with an actual installer or somebody, or that'd be interesting.
I've on that front, I've been communicating with a guy. Check it out. Let me see. His name.
Can we do my segment really quick and then we'll do yours after, Carlos?
Sure. No, yeah, okay. It doesn't have been a
Okay,
segment.
so-
It's just somebody I'm talking to.
Okay, so this is a stock we all missed out on. And I want to discuss why we missed out on the stock. Even the mighty Chris missed out on this stock. And I don't know if we should have, but we did. Netflix is up 35% year to date, 28% in the past 6 months,
Dude,
20% in the month.
Wasn't I saying this is the shit?
Well, yeah,
Wait,
but you don't have any shares.
Don't you
I-
have
I
like
never
a
invest-
person?
That doesn't matter. That honestly, it doesn't matter. We don't always
Amit,
have to
don't-
be in every stock we talk about.
Yeah.
Don't you have a personal vendetta against Netflix? Like you
I
are
do,
anti
but
their,
there's-
he has like your whole thing is their business model is flawed and it should not exist, right? So of course you missed it.
well, not that it shouldn't exist. It's just that it's not a good investment. I guess my question is Netflix
Seems like a good
still,
investment.
is it a good buy at 400, or do we think the market's really stupid right now, giving Netflix a $177 billion valuation?
Well, they're winning the streaming wars compared to the other guys. I mean, you go to their financials and look, versus Paramount Global, which is tanking, Disney, which is tanking, right? So in terms of revenue, they're still there. Sure, net income is down in the March quarter, right? But it's pretty there.
Would you buy
So-
Netflix, Chris?
No, it's
Why?
too high for me. It's too high. It's too
Yeah.
high.
I
It's
mean,
not in my
68%
wheelhouse.
68%
Yeah.
in a month. But what I do like about Netflix and stay streaming only companies in general is that they're very easy businesses to value. They get a certain number of dollars from subscribers. They pay a certain amount of money to create the content. What's the difference? It's very, very easy. But that also makes them vulnerable for like 1/4 of people drop the service, right?
Shock City said Palantir seems like a good investment, but Chris didn't buy that either. Actually, you're wrong. I bought it at 9. I
God
sold
damn,
at
people all up
15.
in your fucking wallet, dude. Get out of his fucking portfolio, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's me. I opened
Even
up. I
going
opened up
back-
my.
going
I
back to
opened up
fix-
myself to that. So it's okay. It
Going
makes
back to
sense. Why-
621.
Here, check out this.
Rango
Check
had
out-
a good
You want to
comment.
share this real quick?
I just want to
So-
read this one quote.
Let me do Rango's comment, then let me do
621. This is on Apple. No, not that one.
hold
Last time I was
on.
told Apple releases one extra software service gets 100 million users, which is 1% of the billion phones that are out there, and it's 10 billion in income. The fixed cost don't matter anymore. They have crazy operating leverage. That's why
they have distribution.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true. So this is what's going on with the PEG ratio right now for the S&P 500. I grabbed this off of someone who was covering this on YouTube, and it looks like we're pretty high right now. So we were in a bit of a bubble recently, but now we're back sort of high. So what do you guys think about this?
Well, hasn't this always been pretty high?
No.
No.
I mean, oh no, sorry, that's the price to earnings has been like
Yeah, this is the
18
PEG
or
ratio.
19 This is the PEG
This is
Hold on,
growth.
wait.
This is
Yeah.
PE to growth.
Yeah, but what
Right,
you're saying
right.
is okay, PE to growth, but look at
For the S&P,
2020.
for the whole S&P, yeah.
Right, but look at 2020. How was that so high in the year that it was horrible?
Well,
But
my
I mean,
point is,
2020 is
No. So 2020 can be explained by one thing: nonstop QE. Like, you literally had the federal government backstopping every single thing in the market. You had for the first time in history, the Fed was buying corporate debt, like, which is nuts. So you literally had the Fed put in 2020, and you were giving consumers money to stay at home. So yeah, I mean, you look at all the companies, their growth rates were like crazy. You know, you could come up with anything and sell it, and people were just
Peloton.
buying.
Peloton was
Yeah.
doing well.
God, Peloton.
Yeah.
Remember that?
So
So this is actually possibly a warning sign that if you're making good bank right now, take a little bit off the table. And in fact, you had a good guest on today, Amit. I enjoyed that discussion you had. What was his name?
Keith Fitzgerald.
Keith Fitzgerald. Yeah, he very intelligent guy, and he was also saying, like, look, if something runs up this fast, maybe it's okay to take a little bit off the top.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around my portfolio. That's what I'm doing.
The only thing that I would say is this chart is a little bit flawed, and I think who put it up, Rangaraj. I think Rango said it best. Without the big five, this chart would look materially different. Like, without mega cap tech, I don't think that this chart, like, literally at this point, you have to take those 5 companies out of the mix and then look at this chart again. And I think it's a lot more flatter than this.
Is there a
wave that we're
stat? Is
looking
there a
at.
chart like that we can see minus like the big the FANG stocks?
Yardeni does a pretty good job. If you're looking at Yardeni's chart, which is up there right now, then let me see if I can find it.
Anyway, I thought that was really interesting. All right, so what were we talking about? Amit?
6
I
to
don't
7
know.
companies is leading the whole market. I mean, this is the headline that's on right now.
This is what I'm saying. Like what seems more likely? Does it seem more likely that we're going to have a rug pull, or that we're going to just do a breakout and it's going to be a massive, crazy bull market from here?
I think it's a rotation. We're going to see rotation out of big tech and into more smaller players like banks. Oil and natural gas companies are been beat up like crazy. So those 2 sectors in particular, I think, are worth putting. Some of the other ones, healthcare. I think healthcare was pretty flat, but yeah, I mean, you'd have to evaluate it based on each industry. So right now, the two areas that I would be bullish on are financials and energy.
Can we transition a little bit to SoFi? Chris, you did say you had a nice little tweet today saying you think it's going to be $100 billion company. Before you explain that thesis, I want to give Vitaly and Carlos' take, because you guys are still a little bit more skeptical of SoFi. Do you think you can get to 100 billion? Do you think that's possible?
I was writing Chris a whole tweet about how 100 billion. What's he been smoking? I don't know. But Chris, you're going to stick around for $100 billion? You're going to be there?
No.
Yeah. No, I'll stick around for it. The only thing is, as long as
I don't
it's
believe him.
measured,
He says it. I just don't believe him. I don't know.
as long as it's a measured rise and it makes sense from the fundamental standpoint, I'm with the companies. I've held companies, I told you, into bankruptcy. As long as the fundamentals make sense.
But you said that wasn't a smart move.
As long as companies are performing and they're growing up, I'm okay with holding them forever. The problem is if things get too crazy with just a nonstop run up, right, without any fundamentals backing it, that's where I have a lot of red flags in my brain, in which case I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this game again, where I'm going to hold on to a company just because, there's this sentiment that everything is just going to keep going that way. Like right now, you look at Palantir's year-over-year growth is down to 17%, right?
Before you go to Palantir, Before once again go
That's
to
a 14. That's a 14x. That's a 14x from
just
here,
to respond to your SoFi thing. Companies like SoFi, all of them, growth companies, have massive runs that they become massively overvalued, and they have massive drawdowns, 50% or more. This happens for the next 10 years. This is going to happen with SoFi if it succeeds. So the question is, will you be the guy holding it till 100 billion? And I don't think you will be. I think as soon as you see that massive run and it goes from, what is it now, $7? I think if it goes to like $20, Chris is like, I'm out the door. I just 5x'd my money. Like, I'm not saying that's wrong, by the way. I'm saying that's probably what's going to happen.
So if you look at it out of $20, right? They have over what's the share count that's outstanding right now for them? Almost like 2 point something billion.
No. It's a billion shares. It's about 995 million.
Is it really?
I'll bring it up right now. It's not. The float is actually smaller than Palantir. I know that.
Okay. So it all depends on the market cap. So if the market cap rides up too much in a very short period of time, then yeah, it's prudent of me to sell and wait for a better time when it actually pulls back and comes back down to get back in. Now you're looking at this right here, the 929, but SoFi also has a lot of, what is that thing called? Convertible debt that's on its books also, right? Did you see that?
That's probably correct. I don't know what that translates to.
So that means that there's future dilution there as well. So just keep that in mind. Okay. That's why I'm saying, like, whenever we look at companies, don't just look at the shares outstanding right now, just like that, but also look at like their debt, because their debt has, a lot of them have convertible. And let me pull it up actually. SoFi, which is their convertible debt is actually one of the things that's a big positive for them, because convertible debt, typically when you issue it, is very cheap in terms of interest rates. But hold on, let me just share this.
Well, while he's doing that, can you pull up the new channel for the Finance Junkies, and let's see if we can get 10 subs live. We're at 496 people watching right now. We're teetering on 500.
Oh, how about 100 people? 100 more subs.
But I'm just saying right now, we got 496 people. If we could get 20 of them to hit the subscribe button to the new channel, that gets us one step closer to being on that channel live after we get out of the jail that Chris and I put us in.
That's crazy that we got put in jail, bro. That's insane.
Yeah. But at least now we know. At least now we know. So yeah, pull it up live. Let's show the actual page, and let's see if we can do like.
Okay, let me show Chris's thing, and then I'll pull it up because I gotta find it, because on YouTube it just.
So some people are writing dividends in SoFi. I mean, looking at would you compare Square to SoFi? Would you say it's a comparable, Chris, or no?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Square has $1 billion in stock-based compensation, bro.
I also don't think that SoFi.
You wouldn't loop them together, fintech. You wouldn't put them together in some sort of similar boat.
I would say SoFi is, well, the question here is SoFi, is it going to pay a dividend? And I don't think it's ever going to pay a dividend, at least not in the short to midterm. They're going to.
My point. This is way beyond 10 years when this dividend comes. So if anyone's waiting for a dividend, if that's your plan, I think you're on the 20-year horizon at that point.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, remember the compensation, a lot of the executive comp for SoFi is based on share count, like share price, right? So it's almost like management has this thing where they're not going to return capital to shareholders via dividends. They would rather just use it to boost back like share buybacks, right? Because now your executive comp is tailored towards that. And I'm sure that shareholders would love that as well, because the last thing people want to do, especially when it comes to certain companies, is get a dividend and have to pay taxes on it, right? Instead, I'd rather the price of the stock go up. Now, if you're looking at it from the perspective that that the share count goes down, you don't need the stock to go to, you don't need the $100 billion market cap can come much quicker than people are expecting. It's just much quicker than people are expecting. I think it's all going to depend on their profitability. I was listening to their conversation today, and one of the things that Noto brought up that I think made a lot of sense in terms of banking for me was that he said, everyone is looking at us in this high rate environment. Other banks are starting to kind of raise up their interest rates to compete against us, and that's having some effect, very minor effect on their account and value generation. But when interest rates start to come down, Noto and SoFi don't have nearly the amount of overhead that these other banks do. So what ends up happening is they are still going to be able to offer a much higher rate of interest than the other legacy banks are. And that's where they'll be able to attract way more members and then keep them in the SoFi ecosystem. So I would say this company is operating more like a tech company than a bank, but it's got but the face of it is a bank.
But the other part of it is, I mean, I don't know about you, but I haven't changed. I think I've had maybe 2 banks my entire life, right? So if you get somebody who's 18, 25, or 25, like a Mitt right now, you figure another 5 years, 10 years, Mitt's going to start looking. Maybe he wants to finance a car. Maybe he wants to buy a house. Like that longevity, that track record with your bank starts to pay dividends for them in the future, because you want to have that relationship, and that's where you go for your lending. If they also offer things like investments, right, crypto, and it just becomes a really easy place to handle all of your financials, and that grows over time. It becomes exponential as that user base gets older, and then then when you start an account for your kids, like yes. Unless they start losing customers, which I don't know people that change banks all that frequently. It's the longer they go, the better they are. All right, how many subs do we have right now? Zoom into that.
Yeah, 756. I think overall this is a pretty big ecosystem play for them. Like they've been able to get. I've been using the SoFi app, and it's awesome. Like I love the SoFi app.
It is nice.
Actually.
It kind of feels like a game.
Yeah, it's gamified. It's got all the. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't necessarily like the invest and the options just yet, because there's very limited functionality, but I'm sure that that's something that they'll add in the future. But overall, my experience with the app has actually been very positive. I like it. It's quick. I tried their loan application process, which was actually very quick. If I really wanted, I didn't actually
Did
want
you get
the
approved
loan.
for that loan?
Right. No, I didn't. But that's what I did was I put in my income, but I maxed out everything to see if these guys would actually loan me the money. I have good credit, but the thing that I was asking for was just $100,000, and and it was just dumb. But I wanted to see if this was one of those things that was like automatically just approving everybody, and it's not the case at all. So there's definitely a lot of good algorithms that are built around this thing, and now they're playing around ecosystems. So I think they're going to eventually launch an insurance product. They just launched a travel product.
I think they already have an insurance product, but aren't they partnered with someone like Lemonade? Isn't that the partnership?
I'm not sure about that.
They already have an insurance product. I forgot who that's partnered
with. So one thing before Chris, you have to answer this question about bankruptcy. When Tanner last night said they use Upstart loans, he was wrong on that. So they don't use Upstart loans. They reject 70% of people, and those 70% of people they then refer to other lending companies.
They're like, go to Upstart.
They're literally like, go to Upstart. Upstart's one of so Tanner had to clarify last night on Twitter. They don't use Upstart. Like that's totally.
Oh, that's a big ding. Oh man,
that is a big difference, Tanner. That is a big difference. Chris, what's the chance they go bankrupt?
I think it's at this point 0, because they've got because they have way more assets than you would believe. They've got tons of depositor cash coming in. Their margins are very healthy. The risk initially, my biggest flaw in SoFi was, is there a disproportionate amount of risk that they're taking on with personal loans? And I found that that's not really the case. They've got enough money on their balance sheet to cover any of the expected losses on those. And even with the economy looks like it's actually relatively healthy. They're actually very, very good with issuing their personal loans to the point where there is less of a chance of a default. There's a lot less default risk in SoFi's personal loans, which is good. They're not like the other companies that like Lending Club and everything else that'll issue loans to just about anybody, and which case they have to like keep a lot of cash on reserve just in case their defaults start to go up. So even the way that they do their accounting and everything actually makes a lot of sense. And I think overall it's a very well-run company.
Well, just on a technical thing, if you look at a chart, $8 is like a massive point of resistance. Ever since they came down from that, they've hit that point 4 times, and every single time they've been rejected. The one time they broke through caused a massive tanking of it, that it took them twice as long to recover. So we're right now at these levels. I don't know if you want to pull up a chart on TradingView, but right now we are approaching that $8 threshold, where if we hit that, I'm saying we go down like a stone, and every time it tanks, it goes back down to 4. So we're looking at
here's a
that
question.
goes to Vitaly's point of 50% drop on these companies as there's like turnaround, right? Just, shares trading hands for new blood.
Well, here's the thing. Like right now, if things stay bullish and these small cap, mid cap companies are getting a bid finally, it might break through the $8. So I could see it going up. But the question is, once again, I think Chris pivoted very, very smoothly, I might say, that he never answered. Would he still be around for the $100 billion? And I say he wouldn't. I say he would be out as soon as it pumps.
I mean,
to
over
$20.
over time, I would trim my position to be better with
Well,
portfolio allocation, but I wouldn't completely sell out of the position,
should we
unless,
make a
like I said,
gentleman's bet?
unless
Should we make a gentleman's bet on this?
unless the valuation was just crazy, I wouldn't do it. No, but
Yeah.
sometimes the valuations can really out of hand. Like right now, the biggest catalyst for them, they have multiple catalysts that are coming up, but the catalyst that most intrigues me right now is gap profitability. Once they hit gap profitability and a positive net income, that gives a lot of people more comfort in knowing that the company is not going to go bankrupt, X, Y, and Z. Their growth rate is still phenomenal, and the entire sector is starting to recover as well. So there's going to be secular tailwinds in the banks as well. That's probably going to lead them higher. So I would say a good price target in the short to medium term is like between 12 and 15. You know, if it goes beyond that and it goes to like 20, maybe $30, maybe I'd consider trimming a good portion of my position on it. But as far as I'm concerned right now, is a good time to, well, you know me, I have a ton of call options on them. So
same
Carlos,
here. And I'm telling you right now, I would trim absolutely at the $15.
I mean, if you look, I mean, the 21 just crossed the.
So I have a question, but Carlos, do your analysis first, then I'm gonna ask a question. Go ahead, Carlos.
I'm just looking at the technicals here. I mean, the 21 days. This is actually, it's pretty bullish. I mean, I want to look at the RSI.
Yeah, what is the RSI on it right now? I haven't checked that.
That I'm curious. Why can't I see that here?
What are you looking for?
I was looking for the RSI. Just to bring up the RSI down here at the bottom.
Yeah, you have to go up.
All right, it's fine. I'll find it later.
I could bring this up if you want to see it.
The 21 day just crossed the 50. It's heading towards crossing the 100. This is what I'm looking at here. You see this? This $8 threshold here. This was in May 2022. Here we are again, August 2022. When it finally did come through, we dropped.
RSI 77 on the daily, by the way.
So okay. I'm gonna
on the daily. Monthly, it's
50%.
Interesting. We are actually hitting the monthly. I'm looking at this now.
The monthly? Let me see.
The monthly RSI. We're hitting some resistance too. So here, let me show you this. If you want to share this, the screen.
When you look at the monthly, it's a whole different
RSI to know that the is still over.
Yeah. No, but it's still good to know where it is. Like how far in the red line are we revving this engine? You know what I mean?
All right. So I like looking at long-term trends of companies, and it looks like, if you're just doing a cursory look here, and I haven't drawn anything recently. This is all from a long time ago. I think when me and Carlos are covering it on our channel, when we created content.
Someone wanted to give you a compliment. They said they're doing well off Unity. Thank you for that pick.
You can can subscribe to the Patreon, or here's his Bitcoin address to send him some of your profits.
Yes, I would prefer come to our Patreon and help us out that way, or just subscribe to the Finance Junkies YouTube page, wherever that is. I don't know.
We got 10 new people.
Oh, that's good.
I'm gonna post it again.
So check this out.
We're at 771. We're gonna hit 800 on this. We're gonna hit 800. We started at 756. We're gonna hit 800 on this.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so check this out. We're in a long-term downtrend with SoFi. So if I was to extend it, we would have to probably break out. If we break out of this is like $10. If we break out of $10, I become super bullish, and maybe I don't sell at 15 because we might be going straight to the top here. The tippy top is around $25. So if we break this out, this 10, 11, $12, somewhere around here, that would make me pretty bullish, actually. If we hit resistance and we start tanking, then hopefully we hold at the $7 right here. If we hold this is also pretty bullish because at some point we come to a little point where it has to go up or down. It has to make a decision. And if Noto has done his job, I think it's off to the races. But then this happens in 2024, February 2024. April.
Vitaly, how do you reconcile technical analysis with a catalyst? So, for example, let's say January 2024, they announced their gap profitable, but the charts aren't in a good position. Do charts not matter at that moment if news is just so good? They don't matter.
So look, fundamental things work. Absolutely. If something fundamentally changes, the chart becomes junk. It doesn't mean anything because it's going to go up or down if something fundamentally changes. But
do you think most traders agree with that view or no? Do you think most traders would disagree with what you just said?
I think they do because they trade on short-term time frame. So what happens is that I could be right for the next couple of months until we get some real good news or bad news, right? Because nothing happens in the stock every single day. Yes, Noto goes on the TV and he talks about it, but every quarter is when we hear actually fundamental changes, usually, right? So
Yeah.
that's when the stock really pumps or dumps. So in the interim, in the next couple of months, while we wait for that information, we can totally go to $10. Well, does it mean it's overvalued? It could mean it's totally overvalued. It doesn't matter. We can go to $10. That's the point.
Okay.
What I was going to say was the charts are looking backwards, right? They're not looking forward. They're just an
That's
indication
true.
of
That's true.
they're an indication of what's happened. And the way I like to look at charts, it's like it's like a seismograph. You know, when you look at a seismograph of an earthquake, it's letting you know what was happening at certain points. If you understand the macro environment, or like what the psychology of the investment community was around, then you can start to correlate some of what the price action was around what was happening at the time. If you just disconnect and just look at the charts without taking into account certain things like that, like you said, a macro event that happens like COVID will just seem like what happened here, right? You're gonna start asking yourself, what the hell happened here? So for me, I just like to look at them as guides for how does this stock respond based on certain macro forces, or how does the market respond psychologically to this stock versus considering some forces that are affecting it, right? Whether it's like legislative or a bad quarter, right? It could be a bad quarter or something that hit the industry. And it's really just a way of finding a good entry point. That's really what I try to look at charts for, is a good entry point. Because when people are trading on tech, sometimes algorithms are doing the trading, especially for these lower market cap companies. There's algorithms doing that, and they're programmed. If we get below this number, that's why you see things like a wedge, right? They'll say if it runs up, say 10%, sell it. Then they buy it back if it's 5% lower, if 5% higher than the previous low. And that's how you get these like wedges. And then at some point, the bears and the bulls, someone has to win. And it either breaks out or falls apart. And you just to repeat that, you know.
So this is a good good report with regards to the thing that we were talking about earlier with Faang. So you can see Faang's market cap has just been gangbusters for the last 12, 13 years. And it's pretty much up there in terms of total market weighting of the S&P 500. They went from in 2016 to about maybe 6 or 7, maybe 9, or I mean, not 9, sorry, 7, to like right now, they're almost a quarter of the S&P 500. So if you look at this chart, and this is the most interesting, this is Faang right here. This is what Faang has done. And this is the S&P 500 total returns.
Right.
Crazy, right? Cumulative returns. This is what it is.
The thing is,
yeah.
that has been going on. Well, can you leave that up? Can you go back to that?
Yeah.
So that looks like it's been happening, if that's right, since basically 2014. It diverged. Is that what you're showing there?
Yeah. 2014 was the huge divergence point. This doesn't include Nvidia, by the way, which is probably another big.
It would throw it off. It would throw off a lot. But what you said that what year was that? 2014.
Yeah, right here, 2014.
That's kind of okay.
It shows if you just invested in Faang, forgot about the S&P, bought those 5 companies, you'd do way better.
Yeah,
that's got to be its own ETF somewhere, right? Does someone have?
Why hasn't there been a fund manager?
You know,
why hasn't there been a fund manager that literally just owns Faang companies? Like you got Berkshire with the value, ARK with this crazy growth stuff.
I mean, dude, 40% of Berkshire is Apple. I mean,
that's true.
To talk about overweighting, dude. You know. So
that's true. Okay, I have a question. So this is inspired by what Vitaly said. He basically was challenging Chris on if he would actually hold SoFi to 100 billion, which I think is probably 2030. So here's the question. And you have to think about this. What is the stock you actually will hold till 2030? Meaning the next 7 years, even if it runs up like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11x, you still will not sell. Maybe a little, but the 80% of your position you're going to hold because you still think the future is there. What is that one stock you just will not let go of? I don't think it's SoFi for you guys. And I don't think it's Enphase for you guys. I actually don't think it's Enphase, because I think Enphase is going to run up and then you're going to get a 5, 6x and you're going to sell. So is there a stock that you have at this age in your life that you will actually hold for the next 10 years?
When ARM comes out, ARM is probably going to be my 10-year play. I think ARM is going to be a $1 trillion company. No, it'll eventually be a $1 trillion company. So ARM, when it comes out, Tesla is another good candidate for that, because everyone is shifting over to electric EVs. They've got so many verticals that they can conquer and master. I'd go with that.
But would you actually hold Tesla for the next 10 years? You would hold it?
Yeah, I think so. Tesla is a good one.
Even though he's told his dad to sell. I don't know if I believe you there.
I
think if you have calls on Tesla, right? You still have those calls?
Yeah, I do.
As soon as you 5x those calls, they're gone.
Yeah, because I'll convert them to
That
shares.
is but that's the purpose of calls.
That's fine. Well,
I have an
I don't think he's
explanation.
going to convert them to shares. But anyway, you said not Enphase.
You seem to know me better than myself, Vitaly. What's up?
Well,
with that?
look,
You know.
I do know you pretty well.
You know, you're gonna do this. Like you've known me less than maybe 90 days, and yet you know my entire investing history, everything about me, my
We
personality.
do. We know your dad.
Like,
We know what happened
you
to your
know,
past. We know the
yeah.
things that you've done in terms of investing. We know
And
what
he was
you
telling me
sold.
Like,
already.
you're not in
But it
my
still
wallet,
seems-
bro.
but
Right,
it
get out
still
of my
seems,
wallet, man.
It still
All right,
seems that you're
look,
assuming a
that's
lot
what I said.
of
I
me,
would make
yeah.
a gentleman's bet with you that if
Yeah.
we hit around $25 for SoFi, and we can do this off, it doesn't have to be here. It could be on the WhatsApp group.
Once again, I told you it depends on the time frame that would happen. If SoFi were to run up to $25 in the next 6 months, yeah, I'd probably sell. But that's because I'm a smart and prudent investor,
That's
not
true.
trying to ride a hype wave into oblivion. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to
You're
be
right
on
about
what's his
that.
name? You don't
But
want to be
my-
the Dogecoin
But
millionaire.
my point is,
My
SoFi will
point of
do
this
that.
question. My point of this question is, I don't think there's a stock any of us will hold for the next 10 years straight. I
No,
really don't.
Enphase is a
starting-
stock.
I was
I don't
starting-
think you're gonna hold Enphase for 10 years.
Let me
if
at
it's
least
6 or
answer
7Xs.
why it would be Enphase, and it's actually not only a price; it's also how much of the market share is actually solar. So, for example, if solar by 2030 is 70-80%, what's the upside left, right? So, meaning like, what am I going to get out of this if solar basically took over in the next decade? So then I would say sell. But if solar is only like 30-40% and Enphase has 10x, I'd say, okay, I'm not selling all my Enphase. There's no reason to, because solar is still going to run another 40% of the entire market, energy market.
I think there's literally one stock we can all hold for 10 years. It's the only stock that's a safe stock to hold, and it's Apple. That's it. Apple's the only company that has reinvented itself decade after decade after decade. Like, do you really think you can hold Tesla and Enphase after they give you your 10x for another 10x for another 10 years? Like, I think you guys are gonna be like, that's it. It's a couple $1 trillion. That's my return.
I've started saying it a few times. I'm just going to throw it out there. There is nothing in my portfolio that I expect to have in 10 years. There's nothing in my portfolio now that I've had from 10 years ago. Why? Because these things rotate. Like, my aunt made a fuck ton of money and bought basically bankrolled her retirement, buying things like Home Depot and GE and whatnot from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Where are those companies now? They don't exist. So this idea of like holding these companies forever, no, they exist, but this Home Depot, the growth beast that it was, no. And so even somebody in the chat, I think it was Yoon, who was it, just posted that, said Carlos would hold BTC forever. I am not looking to die with BTC in my fucking coffin. I want the money,
dude.
right
I think
now.
we're selling BTC in 2 years. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, so for me, the companies that I will hold for 10 years, I haven't bought them yet because I'm going to buy them with the profits that I make from something like Tesla, Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's where that money is going to settle my life, right? And then from there, I'm going to buy massive positions in companies, whether it be like, say, something like an Amazon, companies that pay me dividends, and then I will let them ride forever and give those to my kids.
Wait, I do have a real answer, and I thought about this now that I've had a moment.
My answer was real, by the way. I wasn't kidding.
No. I believe you, but I've actually thought about it, and Enphase might go away, but the one thing that won't go away, if you're just talking about every investment, real estate. I still own real estate that I bought 15 years ago.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about here.
No,
right?
but
Most
still,
people
it's
are-
an investment.
Yeah,
And I think of it as just like,
Yes.
I can't touch that. That has to stay there forever. Like,
Yes.
that's for the
Well,
kids. That's for the family.
I agree with you on that because it will continue to appreciate, and it will exponentially appreciate long after you're gone. Right? You give that to your kids now. What was a 100 square foot area of land in Manhattan worth in 1900, and now what you're getting for that same square footage? It doesn't make sense too. So
yeah. It's
Chris,
just
go
the
ahead.
safest way to save money.
No, I mean, I think the one thing that everyone should hold on to is a good portion of their money in index funds that are going to return a nice, safe return over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Like, as you get older, you should be shifting over more into index funds rather than into individual stocks. Like right now, we're all
and
relatively
dividends
young and dividend payers because
that
you're going to need to replace income at some point so that this way, you can live on it. Because, what's the point of investing if you can't ever enjoy your stuff, right? So I would say if as you get older, your portfolio should be shifting away from risky individual companies into indexes and into, believe it or not, bonds and mutual funds and
or real estate.
I wouldn't go real estate because
would.
the only reason why I'm not a big fan of real estate is because I've had bad experiences with real estate in terms of managing it, and it's a lot of stuff that you personally have to do. Now, if you're telling me to hold a REIT, yeah, I could hold a REIT that's generating a good amount of money.
There are
over a
management
long period of
companies,
time.
by the way. If you have
Right,
enough
right,
money,
yeah.
Chris, at some point when you retire, you can buy
Yeah.
10 buildings and give it over to a management company, pay them the 10%. You don't have to do anything.
And
No
also
one's
the idea,
calling you.
the idea of doing this later on in life is like you're not working anymore. Like, and look, me personally, I love getting my hands dirty working. I love power tools. I love building shit. So if somebody calls me up
Yeah.
and says there's something wrong in the house and I got to go fix it, I don't give a shit. That's I'm fine
Yeah.
doing that stuff. I don't necessarily need to or want to pay someone for those things. And if that's all I have to do, you don't understand what I have to do right now. I know it sounds crazy, but like you don't know what I have to do right now to make the money that I need to support my life, man. It is it requires a tremendous amount of like creative energy, a lot of my time, and a lot of politics to have to go deal with some tenants or whatever. Like I'll gladly deal with that over. I'll gladly deal with that over there. Look at that. We're over 600.
We got 600.
All right.
All right, how about
What
this
about
is
a
our
guy
last
with
question. We'll end it off here. So Ramu, who's actually a great friend of the channel, Battalion Carlos. I don't know if you've interacted with him on Twitter, but me and Chris have. He's a super dope guy.
Can you put up our Twitters actually? Because I have
Yeah, I'll put
loved
up
the
the
people
Twitters.
that I've been connecting with on Twitter. Anyone in the chat, let's connect on Twitter. A lot of times it's a lot easier than doing this. I don't always get to read the chats, and I love hearing it. And sometimes we don't get to connect. So follow us on Twitter. Start conversations. Reply to stuff that we reply to. It's also great to have a record of it there versus a chat.
So someone who's nearing 50 but started investing only in the past couple of years, what advice would you give them to set up their portfolio over the next 2 decades?
What Chris
maximize your 401k and your IRA contributions. Maximize.
Well, he lives in the UK. He lives in the UK.
So I don't know.
Move to the United States and maximize your 401k.
No, the goal right now should be build as much capital as you can while you're still working. Cut back on expenses, because in your later years, you're going to want to have a nest egg that's generating you income coming in the future. Right now is not a good, unfortunately, because you're in your 50s, this advice may sound really bad, but you missed out on 30 years worth of compounding gains, which it happens. My dad came to this country later in life as well. He wishes he could have invested much earlier in life, but
my parents have zero investments. My parents, they're both nearing 60, nothing, because they just didn't know.
Yeah. My dad's most successful ventures have been real estate. So with you guys, I agree. But he's a buyer in India. India is a growing economy, growing and developing. So it works for him. But I would say right now the goal should be to maximize as much savings as you can, so that this way you're comfortable in retirement, so that you have things that are coming in.
Chris, would you advise someone who's nearing that age, let's say if they have some free time, to learn about options, learn about the market, and make some different bets?
Options, not for someone in their 50s.
Options are
no.
Because
for someone who's in their
50s.
Yeah, the downside is too much, and the thing is, you won't be able to recover. We're young guys, we can take a portfolio loss of 80% and still make it the next year.
Speak
We
for
in a
yourself,
decade or
Chris.
two will be back, huh? No, I mean I've gone. The most I've gone down in my life is 50%. 50% was my big, worst year possible. But that's still pretty big. The thing is, though, I was able to recover it over the next 2-3 years. The question is, someone who's in their 50s, it's up there. So
I've had that actually. There's some people that I work with in my business. It's really sad to see. There's people in my business that make a lot of money. They're getting into their 50s, and they just felt like the train was going to continue on forever. Then you have something like a writer's strike, and not only that, my business is like a young man's business. There's people that they just don't want to work with the older guy. I'm lucky in the sense that I look a lot younger, but I see it. You got a young producer, 20-something years old. They don't necessarily feel like the person in their 50s has their pulse on what's hot and the cool, fun, creative way to do things. And those people just get asked out of the business. They just get sidelined out of the business, and they don't even know it. And it hits them when it's too late. And what I tell those guys, like you said, take as much of your income right now, put it into some of the index funds, try buying stocks that pay you dividends. And if you can, get into some Get into some real estate. Get together with some people and do like they do in their 20s, right? But get together, buy some sort of properties that can generate some income for you. It's tough. I wouldn't want to be someone. I don't know about you guys. I wouldn't want to be someone in my 50s right now, or like late 50s, and I also wouldn't want to be someone in my 20s. I feel like I'm just in like the perfect age for where the world is at right now.
I mean,
that's fair.
I think
Like, would you want to be
20-year-olds
leaving the workforce right now? No. And would you want to be entering this workforce?
Yeah, right now I think is
No
for a
way,
20-year-old.
dude. It's so hard for young people, man.
No. I think if young people are willing to make the sacrifices, there has been never a better time. Like, dude, I would hustle. Like, if I was in my 20s, I just got out of college, bro, I would be working 3 jobs, which I did. When I was young, I hustled my ass off.
Why you think I live stream 3 times a day? It's fun.
I mean,
I got the energy right now.
You got the energy.
That's definitely
you
a
don't
song. Why you don't have live stream 3 times a day?
You know what I'm trying to say? I'll be feeling gay. Okay, anyway.
Oh, what? Where did that go? That
gave me.
Straight to the street.
Okay, Chris,
you don't have family. Yeah, no, I'm just saying you don't have family commitments. You don't have expenses. If your parents are nice enough to let you live with them in their house, like Amit, so basically all the money that you have is going directly to his bottom line.
Even
right?
our money is going to his bottom
my
line.
adjusted gross margin is 100%, baby.
Yeah, it doesn't pay for the fucking electricity. Clearly doesn't pay for his internet. Otherwise, it would have been upgraded, and he would have been fucking lagging.
He's like,
bro,
Mom,
you're a streamer.
can I get the good internet?
Yeah.
I saw a deal on Spectrum.
It's like, Mom, can you turn off like your TV so I can connect with my followers?
If we all sign up for the family plan.
Yeah.
Bro, it's kind of it's cool living at home, bro, because we moved into a brand new house in 2020, and we moved from to a way better house than what we used to live in, and we got interest rates at like 3%, right? So it was a great buy. There's a lake behind me. There's rabbits running around. I'm in it's not a gated community, but it basically is a gated community. I got a Wawa 5 minutes from me. Vitaly knows what I'm talking about with Wawa. And it's like a resort, bro. It's literally like a resort. Like, I can't ask for a better living situation. And then on top of that, I don't have to pay rent. And so now I help out a lot around the house.
What's the deal with your health insurance?
So I got to sign up for Obamacare because my mom has great health insurance, but I'm going to be 26 in October. So that is the one thing that I do.
Why don't you know what you can do? Why don't you just identify as a 25-year-old? Just say that you're new. You self-identify as 25 years old.
Could you imagine if the government started like oh, you identify?
Yeah,
that'd be insane. Bro.
There was a guy that legally changed his age. Did you see that? He was like, I don't know. He was like 80, but worked out, looked like he was in great shape, and he legally changed his age to 65 or something. I'm gonna look it up.
So, Vitaly, what is this? Can I share this? Can I share this?
Hold on a sec. Let me just set it up. At some point, we're going to talk real estate, and hopefully people will be interested. But
I'm going to talk crypto.
When Chris brings it up, he has negative opinion of it, and don't get me wrong, I have sometimes a negative opinion of it, but it's such a wealth builder. It's hard to explain how good of a wealth builder it is. But there is the negative side, and I'll show you the negative side. So I have to work on an apartment where the tenants left to save some money because I'm still as frugal or cheap as the day I was born. And I still do some of the work myself. So this is a little clip I'll show you guys. Maybe we'll put it on our Discord if you guys joined the Discord. And I was thinking of starting a little real estate section there just to talk about the project and the projects I'm doing. But go ahead, share it, and I'll play it. Do I have to share sound? I think.
Play it first. We'll see.
Just play it.
Let me see.
Yeah, you have to share sound. So remove the share.
Yeah.
Press present screen again. And just click the little tab in the bottom left. Present screen.
Present screen.
Bottom left, share sound.
Well, it says share screen first.
Yeah. Look at that pop up in the bottom left.
No, it says share tab audio. No.
Yes, that one. That's the one. That's the one.
But it has to be in the tab that you're.
No, this is a separate window. Does it share the sound in a separate window?
Share the window. Share the Discord of a window, whatever it is.
I am.
Also, here's a life hack: marry someone who makes good money.
That's true.
Even if we don't hear the sound, you'll see what I have to do. Like this is not all glamorous real estate, like Chris is pointing out. But there is a point to doing it because you save a fortune, which means you make a fortune. All right.
And you see, Vitaly was talking shit about the Vision Pro, and look, he's got the new goggles. He was an early adopter.
4K. Those are Vision Pro 2s.
I can see his eyes through the fucking.
Here, I'll play back a little bit. You guys hear it or no?
Put some
Yeah,
link
we
in
hear it. We hear it. We hear it.
Oh, you
Yeah,
gotta
we hear
take
it.
off the old tiles.
Yeah, you got to do it, bro.
Yeah.
Every tile that falls is money in the bank.
Look at this guy. Look at this. He's working, doing the.
You know what I
nitty-gritty.
found with doing work around the house?
So,
If you have the right tool,
I won't bore
it's-
everybody
yeah,
with
yeah.
everything, but I took some video of like the projects that have to go on in the house, what's going on. And if anyone's interested, then I might post some of it in our Discord on the real estate section. But it's a lot of work to do what I just showed. But the reason I do it is because this particular property, the tenants moved out, and I'm raising the rent for that apartment 300, I think 300 a month, which ends up being times 12 is what, $3,600 extra. That goes directly to me. I'm not paying it to anybody else. The benefits of real estate, the main one is you control that dividend, right? I control it. So one day I feel like I want to raise it $300. I just do it. There's no one telling me to stop. Of course, the market can say stop. But if you buy in markets like New York, New Jersey, I think it's important because you can do those kinds of things.
Master Goma had a fun comment. A damn Russian renovating a house, like basically how original. Real quick, throw that up on screen a minute.
At least Vitali's not a slumlord just painting over shit.
He
You ever
lost
seen
the
those?
case.
No,
He
I
lost the
fix
case,
shit.
by
I
the
make
way.
sure I fix shit. Yeah.
Just to be clear, this guy lost the case. He did lose the case, but he went there because he self-identified as 20 years younger, and he wanted to avoid age discrimination. So someone's tried. You just keep knocking on that door. Someone's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Insane.
Save that money, Little Dicky baby. Save that money.
Yeah.
You guys know that song or no?
No.
No.
I'm the only one.
Chris, what were you gonna say? You were gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say. Well, though, you know what I was gonna say? I was like, Vitali's not running a slum operation like some of the other landlords. Like I know landlords in the city, they're fucking horrible, dude. They're literally just
I treat it actually. It's a service business. A lot of landlords don't treat it like a service business. So I make sure you have the things that you would want. Like for example, laundry is important. I put that in the building. I have a backyard. I make sure there's space for people to go. So things like that, I try to give them. That just makes people stay longer. You know.
Yeah.
One super chat we never got to read. You guys have any idea how boring retirement is? Thank you for the super chat. Retirement will never be boring because we will be doing finance junkies. Still,
No, I mean
when we're
right now,
retired, so.
And you can have hobbies.
I can see why retirement's boring. And again, I'm in a weird spot in my life where I do have some friends that are like in their late 50s and 60s, and I see them in retirement. Some of them don't have any kids, and they are bored. I can see it. Like they're like they want to hang out more than like some of us with kids, or some of us that are still working want to. And it does seem a little bit lonely for them, but that's not my life. I mean, look what I got back there. You know what my drumming YouTube channel would be if I could be on there 10 hours a day, or the work that I would do on my house, or other projects that I would do. Like, you know.
So here's a question: If let's say tomorrow morning you hit enough money to retire.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for retirement? Like, what are some of the aspirational things that you would like to do?
Well, immediately, me? You're saying me? Okay.
Yeah.
Immediately, I put my house up on the market to sell, to rent. I don't live here anymore. I go and I buy a property somewhere else, probably either deeper into California where I have more acreage, or something like Texas, right? I would have a barn, and that would become my new my space. I would trick it out and have it be like a full-on carpentry, like fabrication lab. I would have a full-on music studio in there where I would record and be able to do my music, and then I would start to flesh that out as part of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I would do much more music and creation. I would be able to do my film projects, the aspirations that I want to do on that side, as well as fabricate and build shit. That's what I want to do. And then I'd probably have a YouTube channel for all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I probably have a fabrication YouTube channel. I probably have one that's just that's even that I pay more attention to on my music side. I would just be much more active in that community. I'd probably fly out to go see Starship launches and things. You know what I mean? I would just become active in all the things that I'm interested in that I can't do now because I'm stuck in this chair. And that's what I would do.
I'm in the same boat. First of all, I would probably move to like a more rural part of Georgia, something with like a river in the backyard. I'd probably build a barn with like a woodworking shop.
A barn, dude, is where it's at. I want a barn with 2 floors and a fire height, the fire department pole, bro. Like that shit.
And I'd probably buy like one of those like what are they called? The mobile vans, the ones where you can just hook it up to like a trailer hitch and then me and the wife would just go around the country like traveling,
buy an
like,
RV
you know.
and buy
Yeah,
an RV,
an
get a
RV,
Starlink
an
thing.
RV.
That'd be the fuck. That's what I'm saying,
Dude, with
If you're
Starlink,
bored in
dude,
retirement,
you
you're
could
bored-
create anywhere. You could
That's what I'm
create
saying. Like,
anywhere.
I don't understand. If you're bored in retirement, then I'm gonna assume that you're bored in your life. No, like, because
Yeah.
for me, it's about doing the things that I'm squeezing into the margins right now to doing that as my life. And there's just so many things that I want to do in my life.
My mom's retired.
Real
and-
retirement is transitioning from you going somewhere to get money to you doing what you want, getting
Yeah.
paid for it. That's real retirement.
Money needs
My
to come in,
mom-
to your point.
yeah.
I just don't want to have to be on the wheel.
My mom's retired right now and she loves like gardening. Like that's her when she wakes up in the morning and she just grows. She's like proud of her like flowers and tomatoes and all this stuff. And she just like literally every day my WhatsApp is just blaring with pictures of like different things that she's growing in her backyard, which is awesome. Like people need. My dad, on the other hand, he watches like CNN and Fox News all day. And I'm like, Dad, you need to stop, man. You got to be more like Mom. Go do something productive. You know, find some interesting things. So
I would never. I'm telling you,
Well-
I'm gonna die with a long ass to-do list. That's gonna happen. I'm never gonna finish it all.
I don't think guys like us can get bored.
it's not gonna
you know?
happen. It's not. I mean,
Yeah.
I do have days where I'm bored, but I always have things that I would rather be doing. You know. Anyway, I do got a jet, guys. It's
All right.
1:10.
Yeah, we got to go. I will be live after this because I'm 25 and I have some energy, and we got to talk about Palantir. So I'll be live for those who want to join. But that's it for our show today. Yes.
Real
Oh,
quick.
wait. Let me
show the
actually say
channel one more time.
congratulations, Amit. 1,200 live viewers today. That's an
Thank
amazing feat.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legit YouTuber at this point.
No, he is.
Absolutely.
And let's be honest, that's why we have 578 people watching now. They just want to see if
Yeah.
what shirt Amit's gonna wear next. It's
Right.
like a wardrobe.
check this out. So my mom, these are like the flowers, like the roses that she
Come
grew
on.
in her
That's fucking
backyard.
awesome, dude. That's awesome.
And it's awesome, dude. Like literally,
Yo, my
she
mom
actually
started
does-
gardening as well recently. She started gardening as
Yeah.
well with tomatoes and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's actually
See,
it's
like-
really hard to do that. It's really
Hold on.
hard.
Can you see that? There you go.
Yeah.
That's
See?
beautiful.
That's awesome, man.
that's pretty.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick, Amit, share the Finance Junkies page and look at our subscriber. Let's see how we did. We had 756 when we started today.
Okay, for Ramu asking for the StreamYard link tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll have StreamYard. We'll have a bunch.
Yeah,
of you. I know
tomorrow's
you
the
guys wanna
last
get
day,
on.
and I'm hoping
Tomorrow
to
we'll
get
do
this
it.
guest for us tomorrow.
Okay, I haven't updated since 7:56, so I'm refreshing.
Survey says
788.
boom.
Imagine it went to 750.
Oh, damn it.
Sorry, guys. We went to
See, now you're gonna cause people to unsub just to fuck
They're
with
gonna
us.
unsub and sub,
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, and we can't go live for another 90 days. So
I know. So
that's
yeah,
cool.
help us.
we really can't go live on that channel for 90 days.
We can go
Why don't
live.
Check
You
it, check
just
it now.
can't.
Go right now.
You can't get no. You can go live. You just can't get a copy strike. That's the
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Go to-
Multiple
go
copy
to-
strike. then
Oh,
you
it just
can-
went from 789 to 788. I just saw it go down.
Oh, someone's being a
That's
jerk. No, there's
Nah,
a
that was
spot in
funny.
there. There's a spot in there where it tells you what we're allowed to do. It just says within like 90 days we can.
Guys, get us to
789.
Thanks a lot.
769 right
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Apple.
Fucking
Freaking
scumbag.
bastards.
Apple did not care.
All right, gentlemen.
Later.
All right, guys, this was great. I love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be live after this, and
That'll be the last
we'll be
one.
back
last
on
one for the
Thursday.
week. Last one for the week.
Bye.
Thank
Someone
you,
said
everybody,
you
for
should do
joining.
Someone said you should do a 24-hour live stream to get 1,000 viewers. No thanks. Fuck that, dude.
I mean,
No, but
Amit
I-
live streams, what, 20 hours a day.
No, but
Yeah.
I thought it would. Well, we still have to do this one for the overseas folks, and
Yeah.
we got to talk about that. And I don't know. Maybe we try it like this Sunday. Just get up in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning my time or something. We just do it super early.
I'm free.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and thank you everyone
All right.
who followed me on Twitter. I appreciate it. Let's communicate. Let's communicate. Let's have fun. Let's share memes. Let's argue.
Get in his DMs, annoy Carlos, ask him all these questions. Like,
Send
should I buy
nudes.
X? Send nudes. All that
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
thanks,
everybody.
Bye.
Later,
See you
guys.
tomorrow. Bye, guys. And it looks like I'm the only one left. All right, I'll see you guys on the Palantir live stream. Give me like 5 minutes to set it up. So I'll be there in 5 minutes. We got a lot to talk about. All right, bye-bye.